Right. So, hello, welcome, and thank you so much, Leanne, for coming and sharing your fantastic project that seems to have growing wings and taken on a whole life of its own.
It has. It's exciting.
Yeah. So, do you want to tell people a little bit about your kindness initiative?
Yes, absolutely. So, kindness, the Kids Being Kind magazine came about because obviously I have, well, not obviously, people might not know, I've been working with mums for the last 2 years on their self-esteem and helping them overcome different blocks in life. And as a result of that, I was then getting asked about their children and different things that were going on there. And then that kind of took over, and I started to work predominantly with children. And it kind of pulled on my heartstrings a little bit to know that there was so many children between the age of 5 and 9 in particular, which kind of blew my mind a little bit, that were being given labels like anxiety and being referred to counsellors and kind of just being misunderstood in school. So I had a conversation with Scarlett. She had an argument with somebody at school, and she came home and declared that they were the meanest person in the world. And as we were chatting about this, and I was trying to help her understand that perhaps there's something going on behind the words that this person had said to her. And she said something to me, I can't remember the exact words, but it was along the lines of, if that person is misunderstanding their thinking, why do they get punished in school? And that statement was just like a massive light bulb went out. And for me, if we can be more understanding of one another, it erases conflict, it erases self-esteem issues, it erases anything that crops up that would prevent a child from just thriving and just, growing up, enjoying life and expressing themselves, essentially, because we all show up differently. We're all expressing ourselves differently, but yet I see children being unaccepting of one another when that happens, and that can really knock a child back, and then a whole load of other thinking's going on. So for me, helping kids be kind to one another is the answer. It ticks all of the boxes, it resolves everything. So I came up with a concept of the Kids Being Kind magazine, which is a monthly magazine that'll go out, and we'll have different themes each month, different activities, different ideas for parents to work with their children on, but also a percentage of any profit that I make from selling the magazines, I plan to put in a pot to be able to support schools, to be able to bring in consistent support. So they've got someone going into their school monthly that's helping kids understand where the experience of life is coming from and how to be kind and compassionate to one another. So in a nutshell, that's the magazine was born.
That's amazing. Now, I have signed up for the magazine, and I've signed up for the sent out magazine. Yeah. Because I think it's going to be so useful for Katie to actually work through. And I'm also going to take it into Katie's school and Katie's school as well. And probably lots of others if I can get around them. The more the better. And can you tell me how you've noticed this? Because I've seen from your posts how this program's taking off, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. All of the different ideas and support, and people who are offering help with this because they know that it's so needed.
Absolutely. I think I put a post out on social media. 2 seconds, Julie, because Sophia, my 3-year-old, is knocking on the door. Sophia, I'll be 2 minutes. I put a post out on social media asking for any professionals out there that were working to support children's emotional needs, saying I'd like to interview them, to post it in a group to support parents who are buying the magazine for their kids. And I was hearing the same thing over and over and over. Anything that's in place to support kids is being introduced at the final stage. So it's at a stage where a child has got into a state and they're being labelled as a child that's struggling. and the cavalry are coming in to rescue this struggling child. And, you know, you're the same as me. We're all about prevention and understanding rather than waiting until it's too late, or waiting until it's at a point where, you know, it's going to take a little bit longer to bring that child back and to get them back on track. So I was hearing the same message over and over and over from all of these different people, and they were all doing amazing work, but they're all coming in too late from my kind of understanding. So in addition to the magazine, I've set up My Mental Health Rocks, which is going to be a series of events that we're going to start in the Northeast and spread around the whole of the UK, hopefully move into Ireland as well. And it's to celebrate our mental health, because our mental health isn't what gets broken. It's the thinking that covers it over. So I want to raise awareness of that, and to really get that campaign going for children to know that they can feel the worst, they can hate school, they can hate their life, they can hate their life current situation that they're in that moment, but they're okay. You know, the thing that's inside of them isn't broken. Doesn't need to be built up, it doesn't need to be fixed, it doesn't need to be changed, doesn't need to be managed or whatever. They can lean back on that. And for me, myself, I used to have horrendous, like doing this video call, I probably would have cancelled, to be truthful, because I would have spent the whole time looking at that little box in the bottom corner and picking myself apart in my head. And I've been able to move out of my own self-esteem issues or thinking or whatever by understanding that it doesn't matter what I think about myself, because I'm okay. It really doesn't matter. And so I'm hoping that this campaign is gonna raise awareness of that and support children even more. So focusing on providing support in schools to educate about mental health and emotional health, and not to provide support that is coming in to resolve a crisis. Can you hear Sophia in the background? I think she needs some emotional support.
I think she wants a hug from Mum. Do you want to go on?
I'll get her, 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Sophia, yeah. Come on, quickly. Can you sit on Mummy's knee? Here she is.
Hi.
Right, I'll have to put these in so I can hear. Yeah.
And
so, and again, the fundraising that I'll get from these events, 100% of the fundraising profits that we get will go into this pot. And I've messaged, since our chat, I've messaged Brooke to see if there's a way that we can collate like a collection of people that have trained in the Spark initiative and focus on educating one particular curriculum, but getting it widespread and having it consistently. So the idea is to get at least 12 months worth of funding per school. So we'll start with tiny steps, and my aim is to get 5 schools funded for 12 months to have a monthly workshop or a monthly session purely educating kids on how it is that they come to these kind of experiences in life.
At the point that you've raised here, that maybe a lot of other people don't even realise is happening, is at the moment there's so much focus in media, in schools, in life, on the negative side of mental health.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's nothing on the positive. As you say, you know, our mental health is untouchable, but for our own thinking in the moment.
Yeah.
And from parents and from children, the common theme is our children aren't broken, and parents will think there must be something wrong for my child to be feeling like this. They don't realise that it's doing human really well.
Yeah.
It's doing human really well. And just as you prepared for this interview, and your daughter's thinking, I need to be in. Life happens. We can't have control over it. We just ride the waves. And I think you're focusing on the mental health that rocks, that we've all got, that's empowering, and uplifting. Brilliant. Instead of focusing on, as you say, trying to close the stable door after the horse is bolted, so
yes,
actually validifying a problem by bringing in somebody when they deem it necessary. Actually, instead of just going in, you know what, we rock, you rock, we all have ups and downs, let's get on with it and let's live our life to the fullest.
Yeah.
That's what you've seen, and that's what you're promoting, that so many others innocently have dismissed.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're all just trying to do our best, and I can see that. And the current trend of children's mental health is amazing, the awareness that's been shone on it. But in my kind of heart, I feel we need to just change the angle of where that light shone and go back to basics, go back to the beginning. And then, you know, the support in the term where the crisis is kind of happening. Can you what? Oh, she wants one of my earphones so she can hear. Hang on. So the need for help at the later stages can be then managed by the services like CAMS, because they'll then be able to cope with the demand, because there's not going to be any, because everyone's going to be fine. All the kids are going to be totally rocking their mental health.
So can you speak a little bit about the importance of going in at grassroots levels, of actually going in when the children are as young as yours now, as opposed to coming in high school? I know a lot of high schools have pastoral cares, have counsellors in, and you know, even some of the junior schools have got somebody there that's to help children. But what's the difference? What can the difference be when you go in at grassroots and actually understand where your experience comes from?
Yeah, for me, full disclosure, I love working with children that are between the age of 5 and 9, because there's not a lot of thinking established in their heads and they're so much more receptive. And you know, you've got that category where they literally believe everything that you say, and they're open to what you've got to say, and they're more connected to their natural mental health. You know, the thinking that a teenager has got, if you think about your mental health being, you know, you're covering up with paper, perhaps there's just 1 or 2 sheets that's covering up the mental health or connection to it in the younger ones. By the time you get to older kids and teenagers, there's a lot to chip through. So for me, it's really important going in at grassroots, because that is giving your child the fundamental knowledge and understanding, that thinking that they're going to have from now on until adulthood and beyond, they're totally capable and able to understand what this means and the kind of insignificance of it all, really, when it comes down to it, because they're totally okay. Yes. And understanding that their thoughts, just giving them their experience of life, as opposed to giving them instructions or giving them like a solid belief. It's just an option. It's just an option. Thoughts are options, and helping younger children prevents these kind of crisis situations.
Thank you. Now,
no, thank you.
We were going to talk for a little bit longer. However, the snow has come and the weather's even worse where Leanne is, and the video is starting to freeze up a little bit. So I think it's going to be best if we end the video here for now, and maybe do another one if people have got more questions and want to know more. And I will also post the link to all of your social media and how people can find out about this kids magazine along with this video.
Thank you so much, Julie. That's really kind of you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
What you're doing is so valuable. So useful, because how often do we not even really, we teach our children to share, to try and share choice, but we don't go on to actually teach children kindness the way we would how to read, how to write, how to, you know, we just expect it, and then when they don't do it, we think there's something wrong.
Yeah,
And it's just now they're thinking about something. If they don't want to share something, they want that toy in the moment. It's not that there's a problem with them. Right. Thank you so much, Jen. I'm going to stop this recording now, and we'll come back to another one if we need to.